Paula's icebreaker speech today is 4 to 6 minutes long, and the purpose of this speech is to focus on areas of skills and areas that need to be developed in her speaking abilities. Her speech is, it's a good speech. I read the intro, read the whole thing today, preparing for my introduction for her. I like that she ties day-to-day processes into her work processes. And the process that she's actually going to talk about with her work is one of the biggest pet peeves of mine with our company. With that, I'll introduce Paula for her icebreaker speech, and this is a 4 to 6 minute speech.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. If you give a mouse a cookie, she'll ask for a glass of milk to go with it. And if she has a glass of milk, chances are she'll spill it. Many days I feel like a story in this series of children's books by Laura Numeroff. I'm impulsive, easily distracted, seldom feeling that any task is accomplished in a straightforward manner. One detour leads to the next, taking more and more time while I begin to wonder if the initial goal will be reached. For example, this past week, strawberries were ripe in Jackson County, and I wanted to pick some to make strawberry jam. Freezer jam only takes berries, sugar, and pectin, which is the thickener. The first grocery I stopped at had sugar, but was out of pectin. The second store had Sure Gel. So at home I wiped the dust out of my U-Pick cardboard trays and was on my way. This should have been the first quiescent moment of the task. But in the quiet as I drove, I thought, uh-oh, don't have enough cash. This is going to be a berry farm. It's not likely to have a swiping mechanism. But I asked before I entered the field, and they still take the old-fashioned paper check. While picking, I would see ripe berries on the road beside me. And after determining that the other strawberry pickers had moved on, I'd step to that row and pick there too. Back at home with the berries rinsed whole and made into freezer jam, though my last randomly saved jar had no lid that fitted. So that jar became the first jam to be used this year. And it's tucked in the fridge with plastic wrap covering the top and the recycling bin in the jar's future. You'd think that here at an orderly utility, tradition would iron out the zigzags, but it doesn't. I work in the Arcos department. The acronym stands for Automated Roster Call Out System. This is the software for calling workers to deal with electrical outages and natural gas leaks. When a field worker is promoted, the flowchart of steps to complete the change in Arcos is like the trail the mouse leads the reader on in a Laura Numeroff book. Is the promotion effective today or tomorrow? No? Then ask for a new notification in case the plan changes. Is there any ambiguity in the email? Question it. Is the requester the supervisor? Verify it in the organizational chart. And then notify the actual supervisor. Is the person qualified for another ability like wire down duties? Are their annual certifications up to date? Has learning and development been notified? Does the employee and the supervisor know the deadline for recertifying and the consequences if they don't? Has the deadline passed plus 3 business days for the record to be updated? Have I enforced the consequences? Does the supervisor have an inkling that a promoted person will return to their old job before 89 days are passed, then I must do a stopgap measure involving fewer people, but reminding myself weekly to be watchful that the supervisor's hunch proved correct. After all these twists and turns in a flowchart, any mouse would be thirsty for a glass of milk. And if you give a mouse a glass of milk, chances are she'll ask for a cookie.